To the fam that's gone, rest up. We run a marathon, catch up. I could feel the voice, so we stepped up. Made it to another day, bless up. To the fam that's gone, rest up. We run a marathon, catch up. I could feel the voice, so we stepped up. When you come where I'm from, every day a blessing. No stress, most high get the rest. Revolutionary mindset with aggression. Like a frat house, we do all the stepping. Ancestors within, we keep the cheese rapping. Experience was my best lesson. Now I'm rolling up from the ass, throw it up. Sub-zero cold enough, worth the black fist. I'm gonna remember that shit like I'm writing it down. 2 tears in a bucket when I slide through the town. I ain't worried about nothing, but where my kids at? All the rain and the pain already did that. I'm trying to live a little more.
Peace. What it do?
Peace. What's good?
Yo, what's up, brothers?
Welcome to another edition of Plot in Progress. I'm your host for this evening. True Follow. I got my brothers Nakia, Crondo, and Kylan up in the building. And let's get into it, y'all. How y'all feeling tonight?
Feeling good, man.
Man, blessed. Good. Yes, sir.
Well, so I understand,
I got a question for Nick. It's Brother Nick's birthday tomorrow, real quick. It's Brother Nick's birthday. How does it feel to be a 40-year-old landholder?
Man, it feels amazing, man. Never in my wildest dreams would I imagined, doing what I saw my grandfather do as a sharecropper on the southern plains of Arkansas, man. So it feels amazing just to be able to, to say that I'm a part of a group that owns this amount of land, and more importantly, just to know that I saw this milestone, man. So it's a blessing, brother. Appreciate you asking.
For sure. Go ahead and kick it off, True.
Ooh. Yeah, I think I'm behind. I just typed some stuff in.
Yeah, we hear it, Nick. So you want to do a recap on the last episode? A brief recap.
Indeed. I see y'all got into like POAs versus HOAs.
Mm-hmm.
So what was the consensus on that? Like, what were the pros and cons? What were the main things that came out of that?
I think that Kylan was saying like it's a good thing to have. It just depends on the people that's on the board, basically, right?
It's all about involvement.
It's case by case, so it varies. Just like an HOA, it just depends on the terms and conditions and who's participating on the board, what their motives are. So the main sentiment on that topic was just to be involved, and if not directly involved, at least have some kind of rapport with those individuals that are on that board, making decisions and driving the agendas.
Yeah. Okay. That makes sense. So on this episode, I guess we can start off with who spit those bars. True, you got the knowledge on that, right?
I think the brother may be experiencing a few challenges right now with his internet connection. Yeah, he's experiencing a few issues right now. But just to talk a little bit about what we talked about in that previous episode. So if you guys recall, we also talked about just the process of buying land. Is it easy? Is it hard? Your pros and cons of land ownership and all of those things as well. So if y'all haven't already checked out that previous episode, I would definitely highly encourage you to go back, listen to the episode. We were dropping some dope gems on that particular episode around, just the pros and cons and what it means to own land, man. And so again, that's some quick gems, quick dropper real quick for that previous episode.
What do you think? Do you think it's easy or a hard thing, or it just depends on your situation as far as grabbing the land?
Yeah, man. I think one of the things that we talked about last week was we talked about the fact that when it comes to land, I think it's relatively easy. Most people think that it's difficult, but it's relatively easy to actually be able to do it. I think the hardest part is making a decision and having a collective consensus amongst the brothers. So that's one of the things we talked about as well in that last episode. Yeah, we got the brother back now, and we got him crystal clear as well.
For sure.
Yeah, we just recapping for everybody tuning in. We were talking about the last episode. So you were discussing is it hard to do? Y'all also got into, is it better to like buy outright or develop it? Can you tell me a little bit about that?
Depending on how you get it. Go ahead, Carla.
No, I was gonna say we didn't really dive into that topic, but I think we could probably put that on the back burner as far as like unpacking that, unless y'all want to do that tonight. I think it's kind of a philosophical question, like, and
For sure.
it really is contingent on like your agenda, like what are you trying to do in the space? How much capital do you have? Do you have any revenue to kind of fuel your agenda? There's no right or wrong answer. It just depends on who you ask.
Right. Yeah, I mean, we could put it on the back burner, but Kia, Kron, did you want to add on to that?
Nah, not really, man. We can go ahead and get into the flow of the show.
Okay. All right. Well, one thing we try to be consistent with is who spit those bars. Colin, I know we first discussed having this portion of the show that you had a few joints, and because like I really don't know that many outside of the main cast I listen to, so it's probably going to be easy for y'all to figure out who I'm talking about here. But I'm gonna get into it anyways. And y'all, first of all, has anybody ever got it yet? Has anybody ever been able to guess the bars? No.
Brother Bilal did on the last episode. I think Brother Bilal got.
Right.
Oh yeah, on mine. Yeah.
That's right.
Who was it?
It was
ASAP Ferg.
A$AP Ferg. Yeah.
Okay. Oh yeah. I think y'all did talk about that. All right, so let's get into this week. So here we go. Capitalism was invented by the white boys. Even prison was invented by the white boys. So you better watch out or they might force you to snort white boy, white girl, or white horse. Up north racist, down south racist. Same government leader, just changed places. $7 trillion on Wall Street wasted. How much more they gonna spend on the spaceship? I gotta face it. You gotta face it. Soon everybody gonna be butt naked. How much longer do we think we gonna take it? Still not free and still no 40 acres.
I know that one.
I know you know that one. Who that?
I know that one. Y'all know that one.
That sound like a Pimp C flow kind of the cadence.
Which is that cadence on that? I can see that.
Yeah.
I know Kyle knows what it is.
I'm pretty
sure.
confident.
You got it.
Let me get it.
So that's Dead Prez.
Okay.
When they remixed Gucci Mane Wasted. Now that particular verse, I can't remember if it was Stick or M1, but I know that's that song. Okay, I know it's that song.
People sleep on N1, man. People sleep on N1 like they sleep on Big Boy because you rapping with such a top tier MC, but he ain't no slouch, just like Big Boy ain't no slouch. You know what I'm saying?
That's right, man. There.
And,
I kept hearing it. I kept hearing it in like a Pimp C Southern drawl.
I mean, what y'all think? What resonated with y'all when y'all heard that? Like,
man, for one, that 40 acres.
Yeah, we're gonna end up making. Like we ain't gonna have shit.
Which is kind of like the theme of the song. Like if we don't get our priorities together, we're gonna be wasted. You know what I mean? That was kind of like their play on that track that Gucci Mane did. They kind of flipped it, and that was the concept. Like basically, if we don't get our priorities together, we're gonna be wasted.
I ain't never heard that. I'm gonna have to go check it out.
Yeah, me too.
Yo, and this is the thing. This is the thing. So many people, and I think I brought this up before when we had a show when we had some MCs from South America on my previous show, True School Radio. They were talking about how the resources that we have out here, and how if they had the type of resources we have out there, they would be flourishing, but we be wasting it.
Mm,
We have all these opportunities and resources that we be wasting.
mm,
And also the last line, still not free in no 40 acres. We're gonna get into MLK, right? Talking about thank God Almighty, we are free or some shit, you know what I'm saying? Like
Free at last.
realize.
free at last, free at last, thank
Yeah.
God Almighty, we are free at last, right? The one they try to pigeonhole him into in 1963, right? And that was the 60s, man. You know what I'm saying? MLK was speaking about poverty and all these joints in the 60s. In 2023 is still a problem. So with that being said, I wanted to get, because even though like this episode is coming out when it's coming out, recently the MLK holiday just passed. And I want to know what y'all think about. Is there anything that MLK spoke about or that he was about that you see that we're carrying out? Like how does MLK's message relate to what we're doing? Anybody?
That's a good question.
Financial stability, the power of the black dollar. I would say that. Because when you think about the boycott, they didn't. The boycott was was financial warfare.
Absolutely.
It was a financial warfare move, and the boycott they didn't end it and say, okay, well they're not riding the buses, so let's go ahead and make them stop sitting at the back of the bus because it's the right thing to do. They did that shit because we was hitting their fucking pockets, and they were losing so much money behind the black dollar.
Keep talking.
And they were losing all that money because of the black brothers and sisters wasn't riding the bus. So how that relates to what we're doing, I think, is just ownership, circulating our own bag, creating our own community, and just being self-sufficient in that aspect. Also financial warfare as well, because we won't be confined to their reality. We won't be confined to them being able to cut the faucet off and we die of thirst, if it for a better term of speaking. But like we're able to get our own shit and get our own faucet and get our own tap and get our own shit going if and when they decide to cut us off.
Man said not being confined to their reality, and some things that Brother Crondo is speaking on. This is Martin Luther King's first book that he wrote, and what's crazy is a lot of people don't even realize that Martin Luther King wrote books, but this is a good one that speaks to what Crondo was talking about. But Kylan, how do you feel, man? What do you think? As
I
far
would
as
build on what Crondo was saying, like the economic piece, and I guess like the urgency of it, and also the reprioritization that he expressed towards the end of his
Yeah.
life, where he kind of shifted that message into that piece of it, the financial necessity, the ability to mobilize our agenda through through that channel, because like Crondo was saying, the change was really perpetuated through that financial warfare, and usually that's what it takes, for drastic measure. It's going to be hitting the pocket or bloodshed. That's what's really going to move people on that level. So I think that piece, just the economic necessity to just get our stuff together. You know what I mean? like you spoke to earlier, we have all the resources at our fingertips, literally at our fingertips. So we do not have any excuses. It's just a matter of deciding to just, reprioritize, I would say.
And something you said remind me of excerpt of an MLK speech when he says, America must be reborn again, right?
Yeah.
And something else he said was that any edifice that produces beggars needs restructuring. So what are we doing, right? Like we're not dependent on anybody to do what we can do for ourselves, right? We're building our own thing.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Go ahead, Nakia.
No, I was gonna say, and so it reminds me of that shift at the end of his life where he talked about the fact that this dream that he had, he realized that dream had turned into a nightmare. And one of the things that one of the quotes that I always post, and it's one of my favorite MLK quotes, is Oh, I see you there. Okay, good. But one of my favorite quotes is where he talks about the fact that all right, man, I'm gonna have to pull it up now. Got my train of thought, but
Is it the one that he felt like he integrated us into a burning house or something?
that one that's a good one too. But no, this is the one where he talks about that the check. So I remember it came back to mind. But when he talked about the fact that the check that America has written, that we gotta, man, I gotta go back and get the quote now. Y'all got me on this one. But it's a really good quote, man. I post it all the time when it's MLK Day. But here it is.
That's what we do.
All we say to America is be true to what you said on paper. That piece.
Oh, okay.
So and so I mean that speaks to what we're doing. The actions that we took was to help us to escape what the paper piece happens to be, right? Because the city is great for all that it brings and all that it has. At the same time, it also handicaps people, if that makes sense. And so one of the things that I take from that is that particular quote talks about the ability of being able to really be what's really on paper, getting to what that really is, and that's the freedom of land.
Yeah. This one right here I pulled up says, when machines and computers, profit motives, and property rights are considered more important than people, the giant triplets of racism, extreme materialism, and militarism are incapable of being conquered.
Yeah,
That's deep.
powerful.
That's
Now notice all of these are around towards the end of his life too. So notice this is that shift.
This is off the speech Revolution of Values in 67.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
I agree with you though, Nick. I agree with what you said. I agree with what everybody said. It ties into what we're doing right now, man, because as far as the burning house, I get that as well. Because he's seen later on that, like, I hate to use like a Dr. Umar quote, but like the illusion of inclusion. We wanted to be included to something that we probably should have never even fucked with in the first place.
We see the results, right?
Shit. Yeah, we see the results.
We see the results. Like before integration, we weren't dependent on anybody. You know what I'm saying? And then like it just a lot of things got ended. It's crazy, man. It's crazy.
Yeah. To just kind of continue on that quote, like as far as the burning house, it's almost like people are so convenienced in that burning house, they don't mind the smell of the smoke anymore.
Yeah, exactly.
Because how can you not know? And then in some instances, people are just content with where they are, even though the fire is like on that side of the house. They're content on their side with whatever amenities or lifestyle that they're able to kind of sit in. People have become content. And like historically in this country, I say this all the time, but I truly feel like our demographic we've done best when we've had a sense of urgency that presented conditions that were like dire.
Yeah.
Back against the wall. You produce. Fourth quarter, 2 minutes to go. All of a sudden, you start making plays. That is that's a tremendous ability, but it's also unfortunate that you have to let it get to that state before you start clicking on the things that you need to execute on. So unfortunately, as a collective overall, if I'm being a realist, I would say it's probably going to have to get worse before it gets better. But in the meantime, just continue to encourage people to be proactive and be resourceful, right? Because everything is
Yeah.
available to us for the most part. The Wi-Fi is clicking and libraries are free. We got supercomputers in our
Libraries are
pockets,
free.
So I mean, there it is. What else do you need?
Yeah, when you say it's going to have to get worse, something I often tell people is like they need to bring slavery back.
Ooh, we're going that
Where'd it
deep
go?
tonight?
Oh, where'd it go?
Damn.
Then people might wake up, or like say like the clubs are shut down and you can't and take everybody's PlayStation 5s and stuff, and they might start throwing a fit and start like, hey, spark the revolution or whatever. But something MLK said was that you could tell about something to the effect of you could tell a country's merit by how they treat their elderly and their homeless. Meanwhile, he was building on how they're spending billions on a war or to go to the moon when all those billions can help take care of all these individuals. You know what I'm saying? And he was talking about a guaranteed income. I got like it's
Yeah.
just it's amazing to me how you know you have the ability to do something this righteous that's gonna take care of everybody, but yet you just rather like just profit off of people. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
That's wild to me. But
Can you
Rondo, you
build on
said
the?
anybody,
Okay,
anybody
I'm sorry.
go ahead.
No, I was going to ask you because you mentioned, I think you said guaranteed income, and I'm not as familiar with his sentiment on that particular concept. Can you build on that as far as what his perspective on that was?
Well, I can give you the link. There's a great audio mixtape called the L's Coming Mixtape. Um, L''S Cummings mixtape, and it's excerpts of King's speeches in his later years, like Nakia was touching on, from like 67, 66 to 68, his more radical side, and they're backed by like hip hop songs and soul instrumentals and whatnot. And
Okay.
I'll share that in our description for the this YouTube episode as well, because
I bet.
and I mean this, bro. 100% of the people who have listened to that tell me they didn't know about this king. 100% of the
Mm,
people who've listened. Well, I won't say 100% of the people who listen to, but 100% of the feedback I got from it. You know what I'm saying?
Well, it's just like when you think about his step out on Nam, when he started going against what was happening in Vietnam and he started seeing what was really taking place there. And I think that came after, you to be honest with you, the meeting of the minds. If you think about the
Elijah?
meeting that he had with with Elijah Muhammad, with Malcolm X and all of them, when they had that meeting and he came out and the reporter asked him, what were you guys talking about? Oh, the same thing that you and all of y'all talking about. But when he started coming out against Nam, because that was for me, that was the pivotal point in his movement. And that's when the powers to be didn't like his shift or his stance on what was taking place over there. And that's when they started coming after him, was at that particular point. But that's when he became more and more bold in his stance for what was going to be right. You know what I mean?
Yeah, he said America was the number one purveyor of violence across the world, and he had a lower approval rating than Trump towards the end of his days. But we have a holiday for him because everybody loved him. You know what I'm saying? But
mm.
Crondo said he didn't want to quote Dr. Umar earlier, but and get into the song pick 6. Dr. Umar, when he was here at Grassroots Bookstore, he said something to the effect of hip hop, blanket statement is responsible for like, you know, a lot of destruction in the black community. And Colin, we've had similar discussions about this often, right? And it was just like, to me, for me, who grew up on hip hop, and hip hop is what sparked me to be where I'm at right here, right?
Mm-hmm.
There's a whole positive movement of hip hop that just gets like set to
Blanketed.
the side. When it used to be like the
Right.
forefront.
moving force, yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like we talk about the golden years, 88 to 92, but this track Pick Six, it shows the power of hip hop and how it can inspire and influence and get you and make you think. You know what I'm saying? So we're gonna get into this joint by Tahir. It's called Pick Six.
What's a good segue as far as how that applies to what we're doing with the growth spot and land ownership?
Well, again, like when I first heard that song, Crondo, like it just had me thinking, like, damn, this is what I need to be doing. This is easy. This can be done, right? But you know, I'm living in Queen Creek around a bunch of Mormons or whatnot. I don't have like my brothers to like collab with and, you know, do what we did. But you know, that seed was planted back then. And this song has always been near and dear to me, you know what I'm saying? And what I'm so proud of, because that came out a while ago, what I'm so proud of now is when I listen to it, is like we've made a lot of those steps that I hear in that song. You know what I'm saying? So I'm anxious to get into it, but anybody else have like something they want to say before we get into it?
I've only heard it one time when we played it at the studio.
I'm surprised. I would think you probably listen to it more often.
Yeah, I listened to it that one time, and but say if we never would have been doing what we're doing, I think it would have lit a light bulb up to possibly think about doing that shit.
Indeed, bro. Indeed. And here's another thing. Imagine if songs like this were played on the radio like Drake songs. You know what I'm saying? You don't think it would influence or put thoughts in people's heads to go the route that we're going?
Yeah, that ain't what they want though.
Yeah,
Exactly.
there's a reason why they weaponize it against us the way they do. You know what I'm saying? But yeah,
Right.
Without further ado, Chrono, you want to cue that up and get it popping?
Got you.
This is Pick Six by Tahir from People's Army Dead Prez RBG.
Feel this, right? Tell y'all what happened the other night and shit. Alright. Last night my girl woke up and told me that her hand itch.
Oh, yeah.
I said, I hope you mess around and hit that Pick Six. 90 million in our pocket, we be hella tight. Shit, they could give us half of that and I'ma be alright. These niggas talking about the tax and probably eat the check. Let me hit that shit, I'll show you how to make it stretch. And I ain't talking about no cars or no gold chain, nope. And I sure ain't about to risk it on no cocaine. First thing I do is go and buy myself an AK. For sure. Next thing I do is go make sure me and her folks straight. Then after that, I go and purchase us some farmland. Learn how to work them fields and teach it to the next man. Whole lot of work to do, which equal a lot of job ops. And all the workers get their wages paid in staple crops. So their families won't have to sweat no good food. Soon after that, we can sell it to the hood too. Since we don't pay the folk and dough, the price is hella low. And every time somebody help, the more the market grow. Next thing you know, 200 folk can work just once a month. And come and shop out at the spot however much they want. Then do the same with clothes and shelter so it balance out. Then we could go and tell them crack and shut they fucking mouth. Food you grow, clothes you sold, house you hand built. Now we free to go and learn and teach each other skills. Electricity is something most can't do without. So then for sure, you know we hook it up for every house. Wind, solar, hydropower, y'all, it's all good. We got lots of electricians right off in the hood. We got pharmacists and doctors teaching medicine. We got guns and martial artists teaching self-defense. We got older folk that put us up on history. And the crew in charge of writing everything they see. Not anything we want to be, my folk can be it now. Selling drugs and prostitution, we don't need it now. And for sure, I know some think that this'll never work. Rather stay a slave and try and get what they deserve. We have community control over our own shit. So you know she had to go and play that Pick Six. But you know what we can do to make it happen, G? Get 90 million folk to put in just a bucket piece. Yeah, I'm talking about. I feel you on that. And freedom is yours, and freedom is his, and freedom is hers. We took the power, and freedom is ours. And freedom is yours, and freedom is mine, and freedom is his, and freedom is hers. We took the power, and freedom is ours.
Man.
Yeah, I'm going to have to put that on
Your
the
second
playlist.
time hearing it, Crondo. Yes, your second time hearing it, Crondo. What resonates with you? What resonates with you when you hear that?
If everybody put in $1, we'd have 90 million. Also, the fact that everything he's talking about doing is what we're trying to do. Build our own community, have our own electricians, have our own fire department, have our own, law enforcement department, elders, doctors, people, what do you call them? Secretaries and document keepers, you know what I mean? And to tell the story, because that's important for the next generation. We have our own forefathers. And just getting off their fucking system, man. Getting off their system and making and building our own.
Indeed. Kyla, what you think, man? What
dope,
resonates?
dope song. I was unfamiliar with that song before you shared it. I've listened to it on several other occasions after I was introduced to it. And yeah, it's somewhat of a blueprint, and I think it speaks to a rebirth of community. Because I know that term is used a lot, but I would argue that we don't necessarily have a comprehensive, like a functional community. We have like little pockets here and there with certain aspects, and we have certain individuals putting forth like good faith effort in what they do, but it's not an interconnected web like it was in most cities where we were, had a significant presence. There was a time where we did that just innately by second nature. And we've gotten away from that through, like what we were talking about earlier, segregation and several other things that were kind of imposed and socially engineered that we became subject to. But yeah, it's time for a rebirth. What does it take? It just takes a few individuals to come together and organize, and more importantly, execute. Because from there, through that execution, many people need to see it to believe it, and to commit to it, and to be motivated into doing it. For whatever reason, demonstration just has that effect on people, to make it like real. So when I hear that song, that's what I think about. I think about a rebirth of community. And he touched on every point, as far as like the self-sufficiency standpoint, and even, conservation as far as protection, and, all of that, the trades, all of that, it's all necessity. So for some reason, that has become, I don't know if it's become uncool. I think it's just been out of sight, out of mind for people. So people ain't necessarily thinking about it, especially if you come up in the inner city and that's kind of all you know. It's just out of sight, out of mind, concrete jungle mentality. But the interesting thing to me is when you get people into a space where they're removed from that landscape and you get them into a rural space or out in the wilderness, all of a sudden mentality begins to change, and perhaps that's almost like activating some ancestral DNA in a sense, where it's just kind of like, giving you that intuition to like what can be done, what you could or should be doing. So yeah, great song, very dope song.
Yeah, and I'll throw in there too, man. So the first thing, go get the AK, right? Secure, right? So the securing piece, right?
Yeah.
Anytime you go get anything, you want to make sure that it's secured, right? So that for me, that stood out to me. Like when he said that, I was like, man, I never thought about that, because most people would go spend on this and that, right? And then he talked about taking care of the fam, making sure the fam is straight, right? But the real bar that really hit me was get the land and then go and teach the next man. Farm the land and then go and teach the next man. And I think maybe that's just because, my entire childhood, I saw my grandfather, till the multiple gardens that he had on the land that just to have him end up losing that piece of land. Um, it's always been in me, man, to want to farm and produce like I saw my grandfather, man. Like the watermelons were like the best watermelons. I remember shelling peas, till purple hull peas until my fingertips were purple. You know what I mean? Like beans. You had an apple tree that was in the middle of one garden, the tomatoes, and I remember my grandmother just canning and all of that, man. And when he said those bars, it reminded me, man, because I wish that as being as young as I was, I would have really paid attention to everything that my grandfather was doing when he was farming that land. You know what I mean? Like the exact methods that he was taking to be able to make sure that the land was fertile and that it produced, and that each season after he turned that land, he came back and replanted, and man, it produced even this much more. So you know what I mean? I think that when he said that stood out for me for sure.
Also, one quick thing I want to add. The name of that song, Pick Six. So that terminology is something for me. It's often used in football, right?
Yeah,
Pick
I
six.
know where you're going.
It's true.
And what does that mean in the context of football? So that means
Intercepted.
an interception that is converted into a touchdown,
Taking the
right?
running.
Fuck yeah. Fuck yeah. Fuck
Absolutely.
yeah.
So taking the ball and converting that into a score for your team.
Come on.
So regardless of what they're doing, the plays they're running, it's about willpower and imposing your will on that opponent or that system or whatever it is and taking it to the house. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So that right there is I just kind of like picked up on that and I was like,
Yeah.
Pick Six.
Yeah.
Okay, like
Yeah.
okay, I'm catching on to what he's saying. So
Yeah.
in terms of like the conversation of reparations, in 40 acres and a mule is that tagline for that conversation. At this juncture, you have to take it. Like it don't hold your breath. You know what I'm saying? You have to
Right.
take your reparations back. You know what I mean? By whatever devices, by any means necessary, right? Like Brother Malcolm would say, you have to take your reparations, define what reparations looks like for you and yours, and just take it. You know what I mean? As long as you got air in your lungs and you have mobility and you have mental faculties, you got more than enough. You know what I mean, to make it happen. So, Pick Six.
Pick Six. I like that. I
Get,
like that analogy.
get in front of get in front of that trajectory. Take the ball and take it to the house, man.
Or like what Brother Anthony says. You know what I mean? We're so on the defense all the time, but your defense can quickly turn into offense. Pick Six. We scoring.
Indeed.
And we doing a touchdown dance after we fucking score.
Indeed. Whole squad doing a touchdown
Whole
dance.
squad doing a touchdown dance. Choreographed shit of epic proportions. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, that's a dope analogy, bro. I didn't even look at it like that.
I mean, he talked about his girl hitting the lottery in the beginning. It's called Pick Six. Colin, you think that's what he was? That's what he was
I
trying
don't know. That
might
would
be
be a question for him. I'd be
Yeah,
interested.
right.
If it wasn't,
that'd be wild, and he'd be like, "Damn!"
I'm telling you, dope.
Yeah.
What's ill about it though? If he didn't, if that wasn't his intention, and what it sparked, and the thoughts that he put in people's heads, man. See that just
That's
goes
true.
to show.
Well, that's the best. That's the best art. That when
Yeah.
you have like multiple interpretations, and you don't necessarily have to be explicit and spell it out to a T, but
Right.
different people can get different things from it. But
That's real
usually it
art.
comes full circle.
Yeah.
That's real art. You look at a painting, 10 people see 10 different things. You play a dope song, 10 different people hear 10 different things.
Come on.
The fact that you brought that up, I was just like, damn, that shit kind of blew my mind. Right when you said Pick Six, I was like, I know where bro going with it. And I was just like, yeah, that definitely makes sense. I would like to ask him once we get him on the show. Was that intentional, or is it coincidental?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's a good one. That's a real good one.
Because if it's intentional, bro, that's super bars,
right?
Super creativity,
super. But even if it wasn't intentional, I wouldn't even say it's coincidental. It's like what do you call it? It's almost like a divine expression in a way. You know what I mean? Because he could have been in a certain pocket, but he was also serving as a vessel for a particular message, right? So he could have put something out there that he wasn't necessarily like directly aware of, but it was still in the spirit of the message he was presenting.
Right.
What if he did? What if it wasn't intentional? He's like, yeah, that was my idea.
Right.
But I wouldn't be surprised. No, man. But I mean, the main thing is, and Caroline, you touched on it, man. When I listened to that song, when I first heard it, I remember him talking about how we got electricians right up here in the hood, you know. And I was thinking about how, like, I know brothers who's into that. I know brothers that do martial arts. I know brothers that teach. I know naturopathic nurses and everything. We got everything we need to build our own. You feel me? But doing contract work and architecture, all that, man. Teachers, like everything, man. And it's like you said, man, it used to be like second nature, and it goes back around to what we were saying about, like, you know, being integrated into a burning house, like, because before that we were doing that, right? We were seeking each other out because the times we lived in, you know what I'm saying? Like if we went to the police or whoever, you know, we had like what were they called? The was it the Blood Brothers? Just like a security team.
Like you talking about the brothers that Alcatraz? Where were they at? They were locked up together. You talking about them? Those
no, I know what you're talking about. You talking about
maybe from the KKK and stuff like that.
Yeah, I saw a movie on that. Damn, what is that? I know you.
Yeah. Forrest Whitaker.
Yes.
Was it?
Yes.
I'm pretty sure it was the
something tip of my tongue, but I can't remember the name of the
you talking about the Soledad brothers?
Dang.
What, they were like policing ourselves?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like before the Panthers. Yeah.
Yep. Damn.
It's all good.
I can't think of it now.
It's going to come after we go out there.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, it's a dope song. I didn't know it was gonna get that deep on the convo tip. You know, on the RBG side of the game, man. That's what I represent. I think it's a song that everybody should be listening to, and they'll never play no shit like that on the radio, bro. Well, I ain't gonna say never, but
again,
it's too thought provoking. It's too thought provoking, bro.
Right.
Seeing how fast they switch the dynamic of our music.
And we shouldn't expect them to do that. That's why we have our own radio station. We play the music we want people to hear, right? That's what I did at True School Radio. I played that song on True School Radio when I had Tahir as a guest, right? You know what I'm saying? So like, too many people are dependent on, like, you know, those that don't care about us to give us some medicine that we can utilize to do better for ourselves, right? You know what I'm saying? We got to do it ourselves, you know what I'm saying? And it always goes back to that, you know what I'm saying? But yeah.
So,
and on that note,
I'll just, and we're gonna have to get into this later, but because it's a lot to unpack. But kind of to my point earlier, like when you provide for people or you give people the impression that they have everything that they need by default without necessarily kind of going through the motions of like earning that or working it into that state that it needs to be in, people take things for granted. That's just human nature. So I think the philosophical question is, you know, is this like a struggle or this level of opposition necessary for those that truly deserve it, or should we be working ourselves into a space where we just, you know, everybody's just good? You know what I'm saying? Like everybody in the collective is just good, regardless of their output, they're good. So that is that not necessarily capitalism / socialism discussion, but it's definitely socialism versus something else, right? And I think that's probably the biggest con against like a socialist effort is the fact that those that may not be contributing, they still have equitable share in the pot per se, right? So I say all that to say, we were at our best economically in this country when we had to be. It was a matter of survival. You know what I mean? Like those
Right.
brothers and sisters did what they did because there was no alternative. It's like if we not gonna do it, we not gonna have it. Now we in a space now where people they opt out, right? They don't feel like they need to, so they literally sit idle or they go elsewhere, and they are okay with being provided for or just being serviced by the infrastructure that is not under our influence. You know what I'm
That's how
saying?
they do it.
Yeah. So we
Yeah,
get
So I
that's deep.
think you should wait for that for next week, bro.
Yeah,
So
yeah, I
write
agree.
that down.
That's
Yeah,
deep.
write
That's
that
deep.
down and put that in the pocket for next week as a topic to touch on, because
that's a big
that's a
bite.
whole rabbit hole. That's a whole rabbit hole.
Indeed. I agree.
You're gonna end it like that when everybody else got something to say about that shit, bro.
We got to give you a cliffhanger.
Yeah, cliffhanger.
Take us
We
out,
gotta
though,
leave you
man. For
hanging.
real though.
I want everybody watching, man. Hit our Cash App, man. I don't like to be digital panhandling, but fuck it, man. Hit the Cash App. You know what I'm saying?
Sure. We doing some dope
Even if
building.
it's
Like and
$1,
subscribe.
yeah, like and subscribe and share, man. Even if it's $2, we don't give a damn. We love it. We'll take it and thank you in advance.
Absolutely.
Hit up the Instagram or the email or whatever with questions or put them in the comments, man. And we're gonna keep building, man. We're gonna keep building. If anybody wants to come on, I think what we should do in the future, man, like we don't necessarily have, like, we can have a guest, man, and just Q&A the guests, or have a regular person come on that's just interested about buying land and just have them interview us, ask us questions.
Yeah. Yeah, open the lines up a little bit, man.
Yeah, open the lines up.
Questions
Man,
and
while we're at
exactly.
it too, man, let me take this opportunity really quick. As you can see right here, we got the merch
Yeah.
as well. So please, the website is scrolling down at the bottom as well. Double check it out. We've got a lot of good merchandise that's out there for you available. Right now, we've got some good shirts that we're pumping right now. The Love shirt is out there. It's dope. So feel free to get it while it lasts for sure.
Yeah. And in closing, I would just say this: we're doing a lot of talking on this particular topic on this platform, but we're doing a lot of action too. That's the
Behind the
most
scenes, yes,
important
sir.
piece of this. You know what I mean? The
Absolutely.
sweat equity that we're putting into this, and of course the brain power. But we definitely we're gonna stay rooted in action, and we just looking forward to anyone that's willing to collaborate, enhance, add on to what we're doing.
The beautiful thing, man, wherever spaces we're in, people are asking questions. You know what I'm saying? And we're able to take this offline and build with the people as well. So that's a beautiful thing. People are interested in it, and people are tired, right? And they see what we're doing, and it's having an effect on people. So it's a beautiful thing.
For sure. Well, on that note, man, we're gonna wrap it up. Peace and blessings, and love for our people, man. You already know what it is.
Yeah.
Indeed. Peace.
Peace.